When you look at someone else's life and suddenly feel smaller, do you notice how your heartbeat changes? It's not just jealousy. It's pain disguised as self-doubt. You scroll, you smile for half a second, and then your own life starts to feel blurry, almost meaningless. Funny, isn't it? You don't even know their truth, yet you punish yourself for not living it. You call it motivation. I call it self-harm in pretty packaging. Stay. Don't skip, because by the end of this video, you'll remember who you were before the world convinced you that you were not enough. Let me tell you a small story. There once was a young woman who woke up every morning and checked her phone before even saying good morning to herself. She'd see her friends' promotions, vacations, and perfect little morning routines. She wasn't angry. She was tired. Tired of pretending her life was moving at the same speed. She worked hard, prayed harder, and yet every time she saw someone shining, she felt like she was fading. She didn't know this, but the comparison was quietly rewriting her worth. And one night, she whispered, not to me, but to herself, maybe I'm just not meant to shine like them. That's when I stepped in. Not with thunder, not with miracles, just a gentle whisper in her chest. Who told you your light was supposed to look like theirs? Now, pause for a second. When was the last time you felt good about your life without looking at someone else's? Exactly. You can't remember. Because comparison is like background noise, always humming, always stealing. And the worst part? You don't even notice when you start shrinking yourself to fit someone else's story. It's like being jealous of a mango tree because it bears fruit, forgetting you're a sunflower. You were never supposed to hang from a branch. You were made to face the sun. Here's the hard truth most people don't admit. Comparison doesn't just make you insecure. It makes you blind. You stop seeing your own blessings. You stop hearing your own rhythm. Imagine you're running a race, but your eyes keep turning sideways to check other runners. You stumble, you slow down, and eventually you forget why you started running in the first place. That's what comparison does. It disconnects you from your purpose. You begin living someone else's version of happiness and wonder why your heart still aches. There's fear here, isn't there? Fear that if you stop comparing, you'll fall behind. But what if I told you, you're not even in the same race as them? Back to that young woman. She started changing her prayer. Instead of asking, why not me? She began whispering, show me mine. Days passed, weeks, nothing big happened, but something quiet began to shift. She noticed the peace that used to feel far away was now closer. Because peace doesn't come when you win. It comes when you stop needing to. Let's be honest. You probably think, but Krishna, if I stop comparing, how will I improve? Good question. Improvement doesn't come from comparison. It comes from connection. You can't bloom by staring at the flower next to you. You bloom by feeding your own roots. And no, you can't Photoshop spiritual growth. I've seen people try. In the Bhagavad Gita, I said, you have the right to your action, but not to the fruits thereof. Do your duty, your dharma, not because someone else is watching, but because it's yours. When Arjuna compared his strength to others on the battlefield, he trembled. But when he focused on his purpose, the trembling stopped. That's what I want for you, steadiness. You were not created to imitate. You were created to embody. So the next time you feel the sting of comparison, stop. Place your hand on your chest and remind yourself, this is my lane, my timing, my dharma. But what if I told you that every person you're secretly jealous of is also comparing themselves to someone else? Would you still envy them? That influencer you admire? She cries at night wondering why her happiness feels borrowed. That colleague who got the promotion, he wonders if he deserves it. Everyone is comparing, and no one is arriving. So the real question is, who will stop first? Who will be brave enough to break the cycle and rest? Because when you stop comparing, you don't fall behind. You rise above. You step out of the illusion that everyone else is ahead of you. Remember that young woman? One morning, she saw another perfect post. But this time, she didn't shrink. She smiled, because she finally understood. Someone else's light doesn't dim yours. It just reminds you that light exists. And in that quiet moment, her heart whispered back to me, "Thank you for not giving me what I envied. Thank you for giving me what I needed." My dear one, you're not late. You're not less. You're simply in a different chapter of the same divine story. Let them bloom their way. You, bloom mine. Your worth doesn't depend on speed, applause, or proof. It depends on presence, on being here, now, fully, as you. And when your mind drifts again, because it will, come back to this truth. You are not behind. You are becoming. Rest now. Put down the mirror of others' lives. And if you forget, I'll remind you again. You were never in competition. You were always in creation. I'm with you, always.